Welcome to Vinyl Night, man, powered by Intertalk Radio, the groove of the music industry. I'm your host, John Robinson, coming to you live from Vinyl Night Studios. This show features some of the most and best influential people in the music industry. Each week, we will feature an intimate, candid, and in-depth one-on-one with all the great musicians, recording engineers, singers, and producers that have changed the world. Before we get started, I got to give a big shout-out to our sponsors, DW Drums, Peisty Cymbals, Remo Drumheads, Regal Tip Drumsticks and Brushes, Blue Microphones, Zoom Cameras, LP Percussion, Roland, and Auralex. This gentleman, I've been looking forward for this again for a long time, and he's been a dear friend of mine for years, hails from Santiago, Cuba, and his musical journey began playing the guitar at 15, him and his family, looking for freedom, emigrated to Madrid, Spain. He had another opportunity to travel, this time to Hollywood. So in California, he stayed with his cousin, attended Hollywood High, and he started playing guitar in numerous rock bands throughout his teens. After high school, Luis was reunited with his Cuban drumming at LA City College. By the time he was 18, he was intensely interested in drumming and took every opportunity to play and learn, drawing his inspiration from a deep source of his Cuban roots. With his new career, Conte proved himself musically versatile, and by 73, he was playing regularly in local clubs. He quickly became a busy studio musician, and still is, throughout the 70s to the present, playing for Madonna, Ray Charles, Phil Collins, Santana, Shakira, Jackson Browne, Sergio Mendez, Madonna, and Eric Clapton, just to name just barely touching the surface there. He played in the Latin fusion band Caldera, and in the 80s, Conte toured with several different musicians, including Madonna, guitarist Al Di Meola, and Andy Narell. Recently, Conte has toured and is a major part of James Taylor's Band of Legends. Luis Conte was also part of the Phil Collins 97 Dance into the Light Tour and 04 First Farewell Tour. Performing both of them, Afro-Cuban percussion has added more depth to all these artists. He also performed with the Phil Collins Big Band, which played Trap Set, that we'll get into later, 96. Some of Luis's accolades, which you must need several walls to hang this stuff on. Percussionist of the Year, Modern Drummer, 09, 010, 011, and 012. Percussionist of the Year, Drum, 07, 08, 09. Studio Percussionist of the Year, Drum Mag, 2007, 2008, 2009. From Dancing with the Stars and touring with James Taylor, Grammy winner, Luis Conte. Welcome, man.
Hey, JR. How are you, my brother?
I am fine. How are you, man?
Wow.
Woo.
You're making me feel good listening to all that stuff you were saying. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah. You know what? Your arms must be tired from flying around all this time, man.
You know it. I got to ice up every time after I play nowadays.
Well, once we get over into our high 30s, that's what happens.
That's what happens when you get to your 30s, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, I know you've got a little bit of off time before James hits again, but I want to share with our listeners, kind of Luis Conte as a child and growing up in Santiago. And I know you've had discussions with me about this. And tell me about this, the political implications and what forced you out.
Oh, no, when I think in 1959, right, when the Cultural Revolution ended, and by 61, 62, so I was born so I was like 10 years old, 11 years old. What I remember is, the revolution, the guys coming down from the hills, and the fatigues, and it was the Liberation Army because the previous government was horrible. And, Castro, liberated the island, and we all thought it was going to be like the wonderful, the Messiah, and it turned out I believe by 61, 62, by the Pale Pigs, by that time, that he had turned into a dictator, and everybody kind of knew that, this thing was going south, man. It was going towards communism. So it became like, there was no freedom down there, and you couldn't travel out of the country. It's not like how we used to live or how we live in America, you can buy an airplane ticket and fly anywhere you want,
Right.
You couldn't get out of the island. It was indoctrination on schools, communism and Marxism, et cetera, and hate the Americans. you know. What was that? Is that my phone or yours?
I think it was yours, but tell them triple scale plus bonus.
Yeah, I think telemarketer is probably calling my line phone. Anyway, you hear me?
You know, so yeah, I hear you. Were you and your family? I mean, were you guys scared at all? I mean, like frightened?
No, it wasn't. It was just I don't remember being scared. I mean, you know, let me just say, you know, my dad back in the day during the revolution, my dad was back the revolution. You know what happened, and so did my uncle and my family. You know, we were pro Castro, but what happened is once the guy took over and became the dictator, they realized. I mean, I was a kid. It's what I hear from my parents is like they realized that this is not what we were into. You know, so this is not good. And now all of a sudden, it's communism and you just can't, you know, you felt, I mean, I felt, let's just speak by myself, I felt I was trapped. And the reason why I felt like I was trapped is because I was starting to listen to, I loved American music, I loved pop music. That's why I've probably been able to work with all these other bands in the non-Cuban world, you know. Since I was a little boy, I listened to Elvis, and my dad had, you know, big band records, you know, and listened to, you know, Glenn Miller and Wood, you know, Harry James and all these. He had all these old records, and my sister listened to Elvis and Ricky Nelson and Bill Haley and the Comets, and then the Beatles came along. And since the island was communist, this was out. All of a sudden, this was outlawed. This was all of a sudden, this is not cool. You're not supposed to listen to imperialist music. This is the enemy. So. You know, you couldn't get Beatle records. You couldn't listen to this. So what I felt trapped because I knew about these bands and about this music, and every once in a while I'd be able to hear some of these tunes, but I wasn't able to buy a record. I didn't even know what they looked like. You know what I mean? So
right.
Music was telling me that this is not what's happening. This is not cool being here.
Had you picked up the guitar at that point?
Yeah, I mean, I was. If you said it was there, I guess maybe it's on my bio is wrong. I started playing guitar around maybe I was 11 or so, and you know, it was all because of rock and all that stuff. You know, I wanted to play music, and let me also say, in Santiago de Cuba, where guitar is a very important instrument. It's as important as the clave and as the bongo. So there's a lot of guitar players and troubadours and guys would come to my house because my dad loved music. My dad was a doctor, but he loved music, and he had all kinds of musician friends that would come to the house and play and jam. So since I was a little boy, I was watching these guys playing the guitar and the bongos and the claves, so I was into all of that, at the same time,
Oh, that's really cool, man.
Yeah, man. So, but I remember I was around 11, I believe, that I told my dad, hey, Dad, buy me a guitar. And, I already had bongos and claves. I had all that stuff. The story with that is my grandmother, on my mother's side was from Havana. And she would come visit us every 3 months. She would take the bus all the way from Havana down to Santiago, the other end of the island. And she was the one that used to say, hey, this little kid, he loves music. He likes to play drums and stuff. And she would bring me a bongo. She would bring me a set of maracas. She'd bring me guaguito. She brought me instruments every time she showed up. So I had a whole set of percussion, and I was playing the guitar. It was crazy. It was really cool.
Man, they got a whole show with you. That's what they were doing.
Yeah, I had it going on, man. I should have. Yeah.
Do you remember what you first played at that time?
I remember oh, man. Well, I just remember my first guitar lesson. The guy gave me just showed me how to play, a major chord like C to A minor to D minor to G7. That kind of regular thing.
Right.
And he gave me a solfeo lesson. And then the next time he came back, I said, hey, man, that's cool, but can you teach me how to play something that's cool? So he showed me how to play this Cuban song called La Negra Tomasa, which is, it's just an old standard. And from there, I picked up I would just like start, I learned chords and kept taking some lessons. Didn't take many lessons on the guitar, and then I just started picking chords out from records, and then a couple of friends of mine got a hold of a Beatle album, and I learned how to play Can't Buy Me Love and what was this? Hard Day's Night. All that stuff that's on that record. It was the Hard Day's Night album. And at the same time, I was sitting next to the radio when my mom would have the radio on in the house all the time, and I would play maracas to whatever popular Cuban music would come on. I would pick up the maracas and play along, and I get tired of that, and I sit down on the bongos and play along, and I get tired of that, and I pick up the clave and play along, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I did.
All right, hold that thought, man. We'll be right back with the great Luis Conte.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at which.com, and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICH, which.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element, affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
We're joined with Grammy winner Luis Conte. You were reflecting on your parents' influence, and then you guys moved to Madrid.
Yeah, well, actually, I went first. I went because there was a military age that they passed in the island. Mr. Castro passed there. It was the age. At the age of 15, you couldn't travel. A male or a female, at the age of 15, you were in the military age, so you were not allowed to travel out of the country. So my dad tried to get me out of there and was able to get me out of the island before I actually left when I was 14 years, 11 months and a half. 2 more weeks, I would have been stuck down there. And I could only go by myself because my dad was a doctor, as I said, and they wouldn't let him out because they wanted him to stay. But I was able to leave. I was on my own. I went to Spain. I was taken care of by some a Catholic committee that would take care of refugees up there from the Freedom Flights. And then from there, I had a relative, like you said, mentioned before, in Hollywood, my cousin, a faraway cousin, whose name is actually Luis Conte also. And he lived in Hollywood, out of all places. You know, it was meant to be, man, you know. And I went to Hollywood High School. There I was, boom, 15 years old.
That's a total shell shock. But did you know, or who were your first musicians you met there at Hollywood High?
Musicians in Hollywood High, I didn't meet anybody until I met some local boys that lived a couple of blocks away, and I forget their names. I know one of the guys' name was Kevin. I forget their last name. And there were 2 brothers, and they had guitars and they had a drum set, and they were starting to start a band, and I started playing with them, and we put a little band together called the Turnkeys. and we played, you know, we just started playing, you know, we got a couple of little school nights, you know, sports nights over at high school, and just jammed around. But I was just kind of like, during my high school times, man, I was kind of like just in limbo because, you know, I lived with my cousin, you know, who I didn't know real well, but they were wonderful, and I was glad to be there. I was real thankful, but I was just like, miss my country and my family like crazy, my mom and dad. So I was sort of like, just in limbo. I was just trying, plus the Vietnam War was going on, and I was like, kept thinking, it's like, man, I came all the way out here to go to Vietnam, and, you know, it was all this shit was going on in my head.
What about
so I wasn't really focused on anything.
The language. What about were you speaking English at that point?
No, the language for me was easy, and part of it is because since I listened to such much American music while I was in the island, you know, whatever records we got, I liked the language, and the language, you know, when you're young, it's easy to learn a language, and especially if you like it. So I liked the words, and I would ask, my dad spoke a little bit of English, and I would ask him I remember asking my dad, hey, man, what does this mean? You've got to hide your love away. That's a Beatles song from the Help album.
Right.
And he would go, well, that kind of, you know, he kind of explained it to me and said, well, this doesn't really make sense if you really look at the words. He said, well, it's kind of a sort of a slang, kind of a way of, you know. So I was into the stuff. So I was speaking English in about 4 months after I got here.
Wow, good for you.
I mean, pretty good. I was speaking pretty good. And you know how I know? It's because you know when you know a foreign language when you're dreaming in that foreign language. And I actually, I had a crush on this girl, man, in school, man, and I had a dream about it, and I was talking to her in English. So I woke up and said, shit, I know how to speak English now.
That's fantastic, man.
Yeah, man.
Oh, my God. Well, all right, so what was your first recording experience then?
There was, you know, as we get on I get out of high school, then I get, you know, I find the drums again, like you mentioned there at Los Angeles City College. I signed up for music school because I didn't know what I was going to do. It's a little bit of I was taking like classes of like to be an X-ray technician, and I was taking some music classes. It's like I was just lost, man. And my parents are still in Cuba, and I ran into this Black Students Union event while I'm going to the class at the student center, and they were playing congas, and I asked these guys, hey, man, where'd you find these drums? And I was just totally reunited back home with those drums, you know, the congas and all that stuff from back home. And so I got a set of drums, and I started playing. I taught myself. I just did it all by osmosis. I just like was doing it just right by just nobody told me how to do this stuff, and I ended up playing with this salsa band in town called Azuquita y su melao, which means little sugar and his molasses. And he did a recording, a 45, for his best friend was Roberto Duran. Remember the fighter?
Yes,
Stonehead?
sure.
That was his best friend, his homeboy from Panama. So he said, "Hey, my homeboy's coming over. It was his first championship. He's going to win the championship. I wrote a song for him, so I'm going to record a 45." So we recorded 2 songs on a 45, and it's when I freaked out by the fact that I played congas on this tune, and then there was no maraca player, and no clave player, and no guido player, and I played them. I didn't know you could play over yourself, overdubs,
Right.
And right there is when I said, "Oh man, I love this. I just love this the fact of the studio thing. Plus the music's going to be heard on the radio, et cetera, et cetera." But that was my first recording.
Wow, it's fantastic when you hear yourself, and it was eye opening to me when I first heard myself on a record, and you find yourself that, man, I am so much in love with this concept.
Exactly.
And,
that's what happened to me that day, man. It was like, oh man, you're kidding. You hear you, and then we need some maracas. I said, I'll do it. I can play the maracas on top of that. Yeah, sure. I just loved it, man. Yeah.
Now, when you started playing congas, though, you said you taught yourself correctly, but did you have any bad habits at that point that you knew of?
You know what's crazy, JR? Now that I teach and stuff,
right.
And and I know how to play. When I started having to teach realizing what is the correct way to play, like the basic tumbao is what we call a marcha, which is the basic.
Right.
What is the correct way of doing it? What happens on your right hand and what happens in your left hand? Dude, no lie. When I put my hands on the drum and I played that beat, I did it correctly.
Nice.
Okay? I don't know how or why.
Well, I mean, you had watched probably Tata or one of those great legends, right?
I have probably watched all these guys, and guys in my house, that would come, You know what I'm saying? But I was a kid down in Cuba, I was like, people actually say, oh, man, you must have been, like, hanging out and checking out Tata Wienes and Papin and Patato and all these cats. I was going, man, I was, like, playing baseball, and I was listening to the Beatles, and yeah, they were playing rumba there in the corner, and I stopped by there and hang out a little bit and check it out, and just go on, with my life. It wasn't, like, a big deal, That's the way it really was for me until I got to the States, and I actually graduated from high school, and I found those drums. Is when I went, whoa, I'm like a real late bloomer, man, in that. And I could just do it. You know what I mean?
Well, the world is much grateful for you being a late bloomer. Do you still have those drums? I do. I have that. It's a Settle Valje congas. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
I think I've played with you with those before, so that's, don't ever get rid of those.
No, never. We've done a lot of gigs. We've done quite a few sessions where we've actually, you didn't even know I used those drums, man.
I know they, in today's recordings, which we can get into later, but they don't really put us in the room together a lot because of leakage, and everybody wants control of everything,
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Oh, I'm over. Being a percussionist, I'm overdubbing a lot.
Yeah, and so are you after that first recording? I mean, when did you start? When did you meet Jeff? Because obviously he was from L.A.
Oh, it wasn't until way, way later, because we're talking early 70s, man. We're talking 73, and I didn't meet Jeff till, like, in the 80s, like, probably 85, 80, 82, something like that. I hit the road. Right after that recording and playing with that band, I ran into a crazy situation how I ended up on this gig. I ran into some cat that had this number of those people looking for somebody to play congas and a tambourine and shit. And it was the Hughes Corporation. Remember the song Rock the Boat?
Absolutely, yeah, #1 record.
Yeah, I went in there and auditioned, and I got the gig. And next thing I knew, I was traveling all over the United States. So I hit the road between 74 and 75 with those guys, and then in 76 I hit the road with Diana. I just started snowballing. Diana Ross, and then et cetera, et cetera. So I was on the road a lot until when I actually got sort of like a little tired of the road, going like, hey, wait a minute, what about this session stuff? I want to go back home. And then it was like early 80s. So I met Jeff around 80, I think it was 82 or 85, 83.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll be right back talking about the legend Luis Conte.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on InterTalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element, affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Has your business been appified? Are you tired of doing marketing that doesn't deliver results? Mobile apps build loyalty and quality retention. Your app from UPG Mobile puts your business on their mind and at their fingertips. UPG Mobile will give you a custom app highlighting how you are unique, targeting your message, and improving your open rates. Appify your business and amplify your presence with your customers at upgmobilemarketinggroup.com.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on InterTalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
We are speaking with legend, percussionist, musician, and friend Luis Conte. Welcome back, Luis. And,
thank you.
Obviously, that song you and I played on together, which was Grammy Song of the Year, #1 record of the year. It was just such an honor to be a part of that direction. But I wanted to kind of segue into you. You know, you got off the road. You were tired of the road. You came into back home. You know, built your family. Started then becoming the #1 percussionist in L.A. in my opinion. And why don't you tell the people some of the players and situations you were in?
Well, I've been able to play with some of the greatest drummers, man, in the world. They're here in L.A., and one of them is yourself, JR, man, and guys like you and Vinny and Jeff Porcaro and some great musicians and it's been and guitar players like Dean Parks and bass players like Abraham and Laboriel, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, all these great studio musicians here in L.A. that are fantastic. But then all these artists come here to do all these other projects, as you know. And so I've been able to record either from like Luis Miguel, who's a huge Spanish guy, to Eric Clapton, to Bonnie Raitt, or you name it. And then you're working on movies, a lot of movie soundtracks, and that's a whole other experience when you have we're talking about recording separately. Sometimes we're in a different room, but we've done movies where, there's a 100-piece orchestra there. It's all, everybody's going down at once, and it's just an amazing experience to be in L.A., and I've been blessed to be able to get calls to do, a lot of those sessions, because it's just a blessing, man.
Well, when you get called that many times, that means you're not, messing up. You're doing it right, and you're taking their song or cue or whatever to the level that they envisioned. Yeah,
and there's a thing, as playing. Sometimes you can get in a situation with a producer that doesn't really know what's going on, and then sometimes you work with great producers, like that song. That you play, the Change the World. Babyface is a great producer. He knows what you do. He lets you go in there and, hey, do what you do. Or producers, guys like George Duke and guys like that. But then there's some other guys that don't really know. I mean, especially with percussion, they're not really know much about percussion, and they know they want percussion in the record. So you kind of like just have to do your thing, man. The way when I record, and somebody asks me, what do you want to play on this stuff, and I start playing on a track. I kind of sort of like, it's kind of weird how to explain it, but I play what I want to hear if I was in the car, turning the radio on, and that song came on in the car. That's what I want to hear. You know what I mean? It's kind of like,
yes,
it's a weird way of thinking about it, but that's what I do. So this is what this needs, and if I heard this song on the radio, I like to hear it this way. Whatever the pattern is, whatever the thing I do. Yeah.
It's interesting that, you probably came in like me, hundreds or maybe even thousands of sessions where the producer doesn't know anything, and like you said, and he goes, "Yeah, just put percussion on this," and I mean, I get the same thing about, just overdub some really cool groove. But no, but don't you feel, Luis, that maybe you've produced some of these tracks?
Definitely. A lot of these things, we should get co-producer records, man, because
that's right.
We produce this thing. I mean, definitely, I agree.
It's like it's stripped down naked before you and I walk in, and she's well dressed when we leave.
Exactly. And what happened? Oh, okay. Well, no, we just played with the thing. We need credit, man. Yeah. That's it. We got to start a new union. Producers.
I got a feeling a lot of people would agree with you there. All right, tell me about Alex Gonzalez and playing with him with Mana.
Yeah, and this is good for the listeners to as a little bit of a lesson in life. my dad used to say, man, the important thing is, like, just be a nice guy. You don't know who you're going to meet. Just be nice. So you start, as a player, I start playing and working a lot and doing a lot of sessions, and I'm still once in a while going on the road. At the time, I was on the road with Steve Winwood, and I'm in Nashville, and I go to the store, a drum shop in Nashville called Forks, and there's this young kid, young Mexican guy. He actually turns out to be Cuban, but he has a Mexican accent because he grew up in Mexico. And he says, hey, my name is Alex, man. How you doing? I have a band, so and so. Oh, okay. I could have just fluffed this guy off, man. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, okay, right, yeah. How many people come up to you and just be nice? The guys, why not, right? So, sure, man, this and that and this. Hey, I'd like to give you my number. So he gave me his number. I was real nice to him. Well, a few years go by, and Jose Quintana, which we worked on a bunch of records with, he was producing this band called Madonna, who I never heard of, and now nobody really heard of, And he goes, hey, man, listen, I know you always work on all my records and all that, but on top of that, the drummer says he knows you and he really wants you to come and play on the record. So, okay, so I go there, and I record. Alex Gonzalez is the drummer with the band Madonna, and we do this first album, which has this song. I remember recording this one song called Reunited. The translation is to live without air, without oxygen, which is like, it's about like living without you is like living without oxygen, etc. It's a love song. And I remember telling these guys, hey, man, Alex, this is a hit, man. If Warner Brothers doesn't know what to do with this song, this is a huge single. He goes, man, I hope you're right, because I'm kind of like out on the street living in my van, And the rest is history. He's a fantastic guy, fantastic drummer. The whole band are super cool dudes, and they're now like, I was just in Miami down with Phil Collins rehearsing on some stuff about it a few months ago, and he happened to be in Miami, and he called me up and said, hey, I'll pick you up. I'm living in Miami now. I'll pick you up. Let's go to dinner. He picks me up in a Ferrari. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's good to be Alex.
It's good to be Alex. He's doing really well, and he's a great drummer, man. A great band. That band is.
I love him, man. I've hung with him, and he is like, it's like I have to tag along. I mean, I'm like his butler. I have to carry his shit and while he signs autographs. But he's the nicest guy.
He's the greatest cat, man, and full of energy. Really a positive guy. We love him, man.
Well, see, that's a great lesson for the young cats out there listening. About just always be nice. You never know what might come around that circle.
Exactly. I could have been a real pain to this guy, and guess what? Jose Quintana would have said, "Hey, let's call Luis Conte." He would have gone, "No, we don't want to get that guy. Was like a pain in the butt, Let's call somebody else."
Right.
Who knows?
And how many Madonna records have you done?
I've done them all. I don't know how many.
I rest my case.
Yeah, I don't remember all of them. Yeah.
Tell me, you scared the shit out of me.
We even wrote a tune together, Alex and I, which is in the Unplugged, called Coladito, and it's a drum, kind of a drum percussion piece with some vocals. That's like, it did real well. It's kind of funny. It's like between Alex and I. It was great. Yeah.
Oh, anyway. That's great. That is so great. Well, I know I was looking at you playing trap set drums, and I don't know if you let that monster out a lot, but you're very good at it.
Oh, thank you, man. Thank you. Well, I'm kind of self-taught myself, because I tell you, you want to hear the little story? What have you seen any of those videos? Did you see the one?
Yeah,
with
Phil Collins. Yeah, I saw the Phil.
You want to hear the story about that?
Sure.
The story with that is Phil calls me for the first time I meet him. He was putting a big band together in 1996 for a big band he wanted to put together. So I fly out to Switzerland. First day of rehearsal goes real well. Second day of rehearsal goes real well. Third day of rehearsal, Phil comes by and goes, "Hey, did you get that cassette with those 3 songs from Steve?" I go, what 3 songs? No, I haven't gotten it. He says, yeah, well, you got to get them because we're going to do those tomorrow. You got to play drums on those. I went,
Ooh.
Phil, did you ever ask me if I could play drums? Because I'm all the way out here now. It might be a little late. I mean, Phil is a great cat, and he's a real, straight-ahead dude. And he just looked at me and says, hey, you play percussion? You can do it. Besides, who else? What else are we going to do? I'm left-handed. What, are we going to have to switch the whole drum set around and get Chester to come out and play? We can't do that. You got to play the drums. That's it. You better learn the songs tonight. So there you go. That's what happened.
Oh, man, that's just, let's hold that thought, and we'll bring that back in with the great Luis Conte.
Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear. Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element, affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs.
Hi, this is Rob Barnett, CEO and founder of VinVillage.com and the Wine and Dine Show on Vin Village Radio. Do you have a wine, event, product, or service to promote? Then contact VinVillage.com to reach thousands of wine lovers across the country. Vin Village connects like-minded wine enthusiasts with unique and exclusive wines, events, products, and services. To learn more, contact us on VinVillage.com. Vin Village is where wine lovers connect.
Are you serious about your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
We're talking to the great Luis Conte, and that's from his latest record. Luis, I want to talk about your groove and how you think of time and you analyze your parts.
Ooh, gee whiz. I don't know where to start with that. I mean, it's just, time is just a wheel, man. It's like, I see it as like a round wheel, but sometimes it can be kind of like an egg-shaped wheel. It depends on the music you're playing. If you're playing, let's say something that's just real straightforward, pop. Maybe it's just like really, really straight. But maybe if you're playing some jazz, that round becomes a different little bit of a, out of shape a little bit. You know what I mean? You can bend it here and there, but it's from point A to point B. You got to get to point B feeling good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's well stated.
Yeah.
But so when you play, I mean, like for example, with Phil, or now you're with Steve Gadd. Obviously, either drummer is. I would love to play with either one, and I have played with Steve, and it's such a thrill. So you just fit right in and just put the frosting on the cake.
Everyone's different, right? So everybody's got. I see myself, when I'm playing with guys like that, being a percussionist, or when I'm playing with you, I'm. If we were making a stew, you are the meat and the potatoes and the whatever's in there. I'm the extra. How much pepper do we put in this? We put enough salt. Do we need any paprika? I'm the external, the hors d'oeuvres, external stuff that just adds to it and makes it even better. So I let you guys. I'm just. It's like you're the foundation of a house, and here comes, the living room, so here I come, How many couches do we need? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I love that. That's fantastic. And, like you actually being able to play trap set, if I were to play congas, first of all, I could never use my hands for a month. So that's one thing you don't have to fear from me. But hey, I had a question. You're always working with somebody, and you're doing multiple tours sometimes. How do you memorize all these shows and songs? Do you ever cross them?
JR, man, you know something? I have a really good musical memory. I actually amaze myself in a way because I just remember shit. I don't remember words. I play 1,000. Steve and I were talking about the other day. He's kind of like the same as me as far as songs. If I had to sing along to any of these James Taylor songs, I couldn't probably get through half the song. I mean, I don't hear words. I hear, but the music. Once I play it a few times, I remember it.
I think we're all in the same boat. I'm the same way, man.
Really? Yeah.
So tell us about the James Taylor Band Cats. Who's in the band?
Yeah, well, it's a great band. It's on bass is Jimmy Johnson. He's the musical director in the band, and of course on drums is Steve Gadd, and keyboards is Larry Goldings. Right now, Larry, the first couple of legs of this tour, Larry hasn't been able to make it. He's been doing something else. So Jim Cox has been playing with him. He's a great also, and Mike Landau on guitar. Lou Marini on saxophone, Lou from the Blues Brothers,
my dear friend, yes.
Yeah, Walt Fowler on trumpet, and he plays secondary keyboards, and myself, and James. And then there's three singers, Arnold McCuller, Kay Markowitz, and the girl from Nashville that plays fantastic fiddle and sings like a bird, man, beautiful. Her name is Andrea Zahn. So that's the band. It's a great band.
Man, that's such a smart. I'm going to come see you guys, and Lou and I have known each other since 1970, 71.
Oh wow!
When I used to go to jazz camps, and him and his father were teaching.
Right.
But, You know, I mean, you always got to give Lou a big kiss for me, and nobody has a better wardrobe on the road than Lou Marini.
Man, you know what? I don't know how. Plus, I've asked him a million times, man, you got to show me how to pack. Because this guy, he has a thing about he never wears the same shirt twice.
That's right.
In a show. And I go, Lou, you never. I'll ask him a million times. How do you? I said, man, it's the thing I got. I just never do that. I just always I never wear the same thing. Well, how do you pack all this stuff? I'm looking at your suitcase. It ain't that big. I don't know how.
Plus, he's schlepping around. He's schlepping in all the saxes. So, I mean, on the Streisand, we were looking at it on the Streisand tour. Lou, where are you putting all these clothes? And you see him just carrying one bag.
I know. I don't. I got a system. He goes, I got a system.
Yeah, he's got a system, all right, man. But
yeah.
Oh my God. Well, I mean, and then one thing I admired about this band, and you and I have both been in loud bands. And you guys have a very controlled stage volume.
Yes, it does. Yeah, we do. It's really nice. It's comfortable, and everyone hears each other. And the music calls for it too, because we can go from 0 to 10. The whole show goes like that. I mean, there's some songs that are very soft, and Steve and I are just really like You Got a Friend, a big hit of his.
Right.
I'm really just like playing congas with just all wrists. It's just like really. It's very mellow, but then, you'll go to, we do a version of Knock on Wood, Eddie Floyd, and that's towards the end of the show, and then we're rocking out, so it goes from 0 to 10, but we got a great sound guy, Dave Morgan. People tell me, man, if sometimes you can hear you breathe. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's, I want to come see you guys. Hey, Luis, tell the audience any new projects that you have, and any other information that they may need to know.
Sure. Well, I got my last couple of albums. My last album was En Casa de Luis. It was inspired by my last visit to Cuba, and it's pretty cool, man. And that came out about a year and a half ago, and the one before that, Marimbula. I got those couple of records, but now I'm in the process of working. I don't know. Do you know Pete Lockett? He's a well-known percussionist.
Sure, I know
from
Pete.
England.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pete and we're doing a record together. It's been taking a little bit of a time because it's like long distance. He's in England, and he came over here and visited, and so that's the next project that's going to be happening. And I'm still writing. I write a lot, and I just sit in my home studio when I'm at home, man, and put some tracks together. So who knows? There might be another Luis Conte soon, another album. But the next thing is the thing with Pete.
I could probably throw a rock and hit your house, so we should co-write.
We should, man. Hey, I'll be done with this whole thing in August, so let's do it.
Well, that's good. I mean, and how can people get a hold of you?
Well, you can find me through my website, www.luisconte.com, and you just hit Contact Luis right there, and it goes right to my email. It's very easy,
Well, listen, I want to thank my dear friend and legendary Grammy-winning guest, Luis Conte. You've been listening to Vinyl Night, powered by Intertalk Radio, the groove of the music industry. Thanks for tuning in. My contact info is jr@vinylnight.com or intertalkradio.com. The word of the day.
Are you serious about
groove.
your music? Are you ready to run with the big dogs? The experts at Pitbull Audio have the gear to get you into the game. From leading manufacturers like Mesa Boogie, Fender, Pioneer, and American Audio. To sound your best, you need the best. Pitbull Audio can deliver in rehearsal, on stage, and into the big time. Dropping beats, shredding guitar, or making the crowd roar. Whatever you dream, Pitbull Audio can help make it happen. We are Pitbull Audio. We want you to play it loud. PitbullAudio.com.
Have you ever wondered what it's like to record on a Grammy award-winning album? Have you ever wondered what it's like to play in front of a stadium crowd? Have you ever wondered what it's like to be on a world tour? I'm Jackie Bertoni, and I've played with the who's who in the music industry, and I've toured the world. Come join my world, behind the velvet rope, and get into the groove on Jackie's Groove. Live 2 p.m. Mondays and available 24/7 on jackiesgroove.com.
Hey, it's Catherine from Listen Local Radio. Moe's Guitars has proudly served the San Diego music community since 1975. Specializing in guitars, basses, mandolins, banjos, and ukuleles, they buy, sell, trade, and consign. If you're looking for lessons, repairs, accessories, and cool gear, you found the right place. Located in downtown La Mesa Village, stop by and check out their digs or visit moesguitars.com or their Facebook page. mozeguitars.com, 619-698-1185.
Hi, this is Tim Dolbear, host of Sound Experience here on Intertalk Radio. And Source Connect by Source Element is the essential tool that we use to link between my studio in Austin, Texas, and the WS radio station in San Diego. Now, with Source Connect, not only can we communicate in real time and with HD audio, but it's synced up and is of a high enough quality that I can use it for real-time ADR work, remote recording, and overdubbing, and it even allows me to remotely control a DAW. Source Connect by Source Element, affordable, high-quality audio and video connection over the internet for all of your production needs. Hi, I'm Tim Dolbear, the host of Sound Experience on Intertalk Radio. Each week, I talk with top professional audio engineers, producers, musicians, and the manufacturers that make the tools that we use in the studio each and every day. From capturing the perfect take to mastering your final release, and the tools and how the pros use them, we are going to dive deep into their process and learn from their experience. I look forward to you joining us each week on Sound Experience with me, your host, Tim Dolbear.
Which sandwich is healthy and tasty? Which sandwich can come on bread or in a bowl? Which sandwich comes 51 different ways, so it's always your way? A which sandwich. Stop into our shop in Hazard Center. We're upstairs from the Hazard Center Digiplex. Bring in your movie ticket. We will add a free drink and chips to your sandwich order. Or order online at whichwich.com, and we will have it ready and waiting. WHICHWICH. Whichwich.com.